Awesome. Well, welcome back to another episode of Adapt, Attack, and Advance. I am Michael Braddock, the host of this new show. And sometimes we personally have to adapt, attack, and advance. My guest lined up for this evening was a tentative guest, and due to a scheduling conflict, he is going to be on next week. So we're very, very excited to have him next week. But in the interim, I thought, practice what I preach. So here I am adapting and attacking. And I have my special guest, my lovely wife, Lannin Braddock, and we're thrilled to be on here. So we thought we would just share a little bit about what we are personally doing as a family during these uncharted and unprecedented times. And Lannin, I'm glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, perfect. Well, I know that you've been one of my most loyal followers.
Yes.
So you understand the concept of the show, adapting, attacking, and advancing, and what those three mean to me and what they mean to some of the previous guests thus far. So let's just dive right in.
Okay. Great.
Perfect. So adapting in its nature means to adapt to current circumstances and to pivot of sorts. So what have we done as a family to pivot?
Well, so we already about a year ago limited our TV watching by getting rid of cable, probably like the best thing we have ever done. But since then, we have cut it out even further, where we're just not watching any of the news unless it's an actual live coverage from the president himself, so that we can take in the information and absorb it and formulate our own opinions instead of being inundated by opinions of other news medias and other outlets. So that's probably the first thing we've done. Definitely keeping a positive mental attitude, wanting to be positive.
Come over here, buddy.
Is this another pivot?
Keep going.
Wanting to be positive in our daily lives and focusing on the future and being positive for our daughter as well.
Keep going.
And the mental attitude and having that clarity that we know that this is going to pass and how we're going to do this together.
Look at mommy. So, well, that's really good information. As far as kind of focusing in on the positive mental attitude of things, I think that's great because really half the battle at least is between our ears. So yeah, that's some really positive things. Anything that you might have missed, or we're pivoting right now, we're adapting right now.
Pivoting right now. I just think the most important thing is making our own minds and our own decisions about. Oh, what's here?
ABC Mouse Friends.
Yes. Staying positive and looking forward to the future and helping each other and our family as a whole just do what we can together here in the house and keeping everything as normal as we can for her. And a lot of smiles, a lot of laughter. Laughter is truly the best medicine. Things can get really bleak and dark out there. And so we try to make light of our situation, and we try and smile and sing songs and tell jokes and just do what we can to stay positive.
Absolutely. Well, let's kind of dive right into, hey, buddy, do you have anything you want to add? You want to say hi to everyone?
Can you tell everybody what your name is?
No. What's your name? My name is Amelia. No. Okay. Well.
And I'm hungry.
So as far as attacking, this has always been about sort of the mindset portion. So this has always been about the mindset portion and also the kind of actions that are being taken. As far as some of the things that we are doing as a family, we have really focused in on being structuring our days. We're waking up before the sun rises every single morning. That is a goal that Lana and I have every single day. We wake up before the sun rises. That's our first win of the day. We beat the sun before it rises. And we know that the sun is always a constant. So if we can beat it every single morning, we beat it. It may be we beat it by 10 minutes some days, or maybe in some cases we beat it by an hour, but we always make the attempt to beat the sun up, to get our day started off with a win. The next thing that we do, which may sound extremely simple, but we immediately make the bed after we get up. And the reason why we do that is because, again, it is another win. It is something that we've accomplished. And there was a Coast Guard admiral, if I'm not mistaken. I'll post up the link below, but he talks about one of the most important things to do at the beginning of your day is to make your bed, because you have now achieved a goal. Although minor, you have now achieved a goal. So I'll be sure to post that up in the comments. A couple of other things that we're doing. So getting back to the structure, so we're beating the sun up. I have become more organized in the past 14 days than I think I have ever been. Lannin has been joking at me over here. I've been quite literally the label king.
Yes.
So
everything.
I've already gone through 1 and almost 2 rolls of the little
Really?
label tape. Yeah. So labeling everything, putting everything in 3-ring binders, using this opportunity to truly get organized, systems, processes, not only from a professional standpoint, but also from a personal family standpoint. As my wife says, every
place has a thing, everything in its place.
That's
yes.
right. And that's her love language.
I think it's important to note also that in this time when you're having to pivot at work and your professional life, you're also having to pivot at home too. So, that's something that we've done together as family. Our routines, our daily routines are completely opposite than what they were. And so we're having to pivot and adapt to each other being around more, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I now fully understand people that have been retired. They're like, get out of the house.
It's just, if you're going to pivot in your workplace and how you're going to overcome COVID-19 at work, you also have to do it at home too. And some of the strategies that you apply at work, you have to apply at home as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about structure, organization. I think another big thing is keeping our little ones structured. Lannin, you want to talk a little bit more about how we're keeping Amelia structured, because she is completely out of her routine. She's not going to dance class. She's not going to little gym, school. So how are you keeping her on a routine? And also, she's only 2.5, but how are you shielding her from kind of what's going on?
Okay. So a routine is important for us. In normal times and in chaotic times. So I've always been a big proponent of keeping her on a schedule from the time she wakes up, during naps, evening time, bedtime, bath, always on a schedule so that she can expect and know what's going to come of the day. So when all of this happened, we decided to keep the schedule as is. She wakes up at the same time. She takes her nap at the same time. She goes to sleep at the same time. On the days that she would have had school, we have school. So in the morning, we get a lesson plan from her teacher, and we do her. Yeah, you want to sure. She does her lesson plan. She only went to school in the morning, so we only do it in the morning. And then she has lunch, she has her nap, and then we do something in the afternoon. Her teachers, her dance teacher, even Little Gym, have been amazing in having these Zooms and these online videos that she can watch. I mean, she's 2, so on a Zoom call is very cute, but not necessarily productive. So the YouTube videos have helped, and she enjoys watching her teachers. She doesn't quite understand that they're on a computer in their own home, but she understands that they're not physically here. So she's trying to process, hey, I see you on the computer screen and you're dancing or you're teaching me something, but you're not actually physically here. Hi. I'm sorry, what was your other thing?
No, just keeping her on the schedule.
Okay, keeping her on the schedule. Oh, not talking about, so.
I got you, buddy.
So I think what we have done to shelter, I don't know if that's the right word, but to keep things as normal as possible is we don't talk about what COVID-19 is. She's too young to understand that. And so, she asks why we can't go into the restaurant. She's asked why she's seen people wearing masks. And we kind of just give her an answer. It's a generic, generalized answer, and kind of just move on and change the subject. We can't go into the restaurant because the restaurant is closed. I'm not going to launch into some diatribe about what's going on because she won't understand it and it can end up scaring her. And I am a big proponent for normalcy, and we're trying to keep everything as normal as we can, especially for her. Hi, you want to come say hello? It's so sad today. So that's what we are doing in terms of her.
Oh, look at those little crocodile tears. Well, that's really good information about that. I think from a parent, we're all trying to figure out how we're navigating through this. Fortunately, she's not quite old enough to know what's fully going on, but she knows something's up. Kids know, they're aware. They take in a lot more than what we think they do. They're little sponges, and they can know about 5 different things going on at any point in time. A couple of other things that we're doing about routine. We both, and I am the world's worst about sleep, but I have been very diligent about going to bed by about 9:30 and getting to sleep before 10 o'clock. That is just something about just mental clarity. And as Dr. Daniel Amen talks about, he was a world-renowned brain expert. He says that 7 hours of sleep is essentially like washing your brain. So if you get a minimum of 7 hours of sleep, you're essentially washing your brain in a positive way. You're not brainwashing, but you're washing your brain for clarity for the next day. And I think there's definitely something to be said about that. A couple of the other things that I want to talk about, especially with regards to the brain. So the organization side of things, what we're doing is we're working to get organized, but also declutter. Because I think clutter can also show up in your mind, not only in your physical space. So we're working to declutter. And another way to actually improve your financial condition is by giving those items to charity. So although you're not getting money back, you're getting a charitable deduction. So just little things like that as well. So everyone needs a little extra, whatever they can get right now during that period of time, especially when it comes for the end of the year. And then a couple of things, Lannin, you want to talk a little bit about our diet and something that we were doing before COVID, but we've really exponentially added to that during this.
Sure. So I think it was in like the month of November of 2019 or something like that, we decided to try being mostly vegetarian. Just I would love to say that we did it 100%, but I would be lying because we had sushi and fish and chicken every once in a while.
Like pescatarian.
Right. Well, yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of. I mean, I don't know. Can you be 2/3 vegetarian? Because like 2 out of our 3 meals were vegetarian. But so we stuck on that bandwagon through the holidays and then into January and continued into February. And then with everything else that happened here with COVID-19, we became very, very diligent about our diet and being very healthy. And that included the sleep, like he was talking about, going and getting at least, he says 7 hours. I'm an 8 to 10 hour sleeper, so I am in bed pretty soon after we put Emmy down. And that's one part. The exercise, we are exercising every single day.
Yep, at least 30 minutes.
At least 30 minutes. I love my Apple Watch for that. I close all 3 rings every single day since this has started. Every single day. And then our diet being super, yes, we will go in 1 minute. Okay, let mommy wrap up. We've been super healthy in all of our meals and all of our meal decisions, and sticking primarily vegetarian or extremely lean meats like ground turkey, a lot of fish, and a lot of fresh veggies and fruits. It was kind of interesting when this all went down. Everybody ran for the frozen and non-perishable goods. So for a very long time, I had like a plethora of veggies and fruits to choose from, which was wonderful. And then everybody kind of pivoted and realized that they were still going to be able to cook. And so things have gotten a little, scarce here and there, and we've had to make some adjustments. But for the most part, I've been able to find everything I need, and it's been fun to cook new new and exciting recipes. My Pinterest is loaded with all types of veggie recipes these days.
Yeah, we're taking our meds, right? Every day.
Yeah.
Meditation and prayer, exercise, diet, and sleep. Take your meds every day. As far as the other thing about diet, anybody that knows me knows I love a good tequila drink. We have made a commitment between the two of us that no alcohol of any kind until we get through this. We want to wake up every morning not being groggy, not being kind of cloudy headed, and we also want to be able to think clear headed as well. And then a couple of other things. We're focusing on positive data. What you get is what you get out. Your input and your output. So we're focusing on positive data, and we're only listening to those key individuals that we respect and we value their opinion with regards to kind of letting them sort of speak data into us and following that data. We want to know what is the actual resume behind the people that we're listening to. And we're very fortunate to be connected in several groups that one of the individuals that we're a part of, that we're connected to, he sold his company for 77 times EBITDA for $150 million. So that's someone we definitely want to listen to. And we get the opportunity to spend time with him about an hour every single Tuesday night. So we're extremely fortunate about that. And that kind of dives into accountability groups. So Lannin, you want to talk about the accountability group that you're a part of, and then I'll dive into the accountability group that I'm a part of.
So I'm a part of a couple of different groups that I think are keeping me accountable. Locally here, I have been a member of and continue to be a member of Cape Fear Crew, and that crew stands for Commercial Real Estate Women. And they have moved everything to either social media or online platforms as Zoom. We have something called Virtual Coffee in the mornings every couple of weeks, and they do a virtual happy hour too. Unfortunately, it coincides with dinner time for us, so I'm unable to make those, but I make the morning ones, and we just talk about what's going on in our businesses and in our personal life, and check in with each other, and if we have any projects going on, just to make sure that we're there as this group of women and men to support each other. The next accountability local organization I'm a part of is Inspiration Lab with Stephanie Lanier. Fortuitous timing. I joined right before all of this exploded, and it's been great. They are an organization that is, as Stephanie put it, a soft place to land, but then to launch you up too. So they're helping me become better goal-oriented with my business goals. And they've had some great Zoom chats about, things like Instagram for your business and what you should be posting, and content creation and things like that. And then I'm a part of a larger network. I don't even know how many people. I think there was like 500 people on the call yesterday, and it's called the 10X Ladies, and that's with Elena Cardone. And she is just putting herself out there to talk about what we're doing right now, what we need to be doing, if we have any questions, business or personal. She is definitely a leader in our community and a woman that I respect and look up to. And so I'm always interested to hear what it is she's doing, especially during this time as a mother, as a wife, as a business woman, as somebody that I can model and look up to and get great expert tips. So those are probably the three platforms that are keeping me accountable outside of this house. And I am appreciative of every single one of them.
Yeah, give some context to kind of who Lane is. Who Elena is, like their business, what their revenues look like as far as the real estate holdings, things like that. You might
have to help me with that one. But Elena Cardone and Grant Cardone own something called Cardone Enterprises. And they are in multifamily real estate. So they have absorbed a bunch of different apartments.
They've acquired, not absorbed.
Sorry. Acquired.
Come on, you're the real estate.
I'm sorry. I'm doing too.
They have about $1.8 billion of assets under management, so about 8,000 doors. And then they also run a training and sales technology company as well. But as far as as far as a couple of other things. So let's just kind of dive right into the last part because we have a little one that is wanting mommy's attention. So advancing, I see that sort of as moving forward. So what are we doing right now as what we're doing as far as moving forward? Because we know that this too shall pass. It's what are we going to look like on the other side of this? Are we going to take these 30, 40, 60 days and just say, man, I wish I had the time. Now we have the time. So all those things you said, I wish I had the time to do, but I'd never have the time. Well, we have the time now. So it's, come out of this with a new skill, with a new mindset, in better shape, better health, and kind of, just an opportunity to move forward. So what are we doing as far as sort of advancing forward? I know I've kind of like hogged the mic a little bit.
That's okay. I think we are realigning our long-term goals and seeing what we can attack right now, what we might need to push out to a later date. And so we're having a lot of conversation about that. And
so the biggest thing is we're realigning. Yeah. We're realigning out. We're getting realigned with our long-term goals. Mike Tyson says you always have a plan until you get punched in the face. Well, COVID's punched a lot of people in the face, but what we're doing is okay, all right. So let's go back to our disciplines. Let's double down on our disciplines. Let's focus in on that. These are the times that we've done all of this personal improvement for. And we are focused in on our long-term goals. Now we've had to make some adjustments and pivots to that, which in a positive way. But that's really what we're focusing on. But I think the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway, the biggest message that we want to leave everyone with, because we don't want to consume too much of your time, is that this too will pass. Make the most of this time period, whether that means spending time with your family, getting back to doing family dinners, spend some time in personal development and improving. Move 30 to 40 minutes a day and do some activity. And, we're not perfect. We're not close to being perfect. We don't get it right every single day, but we're definitely focusing in on making forward momentum.
Allow yourself the grace. If you're not, if you're having an off day, an off moment, an off hour, allow yourself that, don't get too hard on yourself. Give yourself a grace period, but then make sure you get back up and do it again.
Yeah, but just don't get soft on yourself either. Yeah. So that's it. All right. Anything that you want to talk about?
I think we've summed it all up.
Emmy, do you want to say goodbye?
You want to say goodbye?
You want to wave and say bye-bye?
Come say goodbye. Say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Say, so nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Can you say, my name is Emmy and I can do anything?
My Emmy, I need to do anything.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Thank
We're
you.
all going to get through this. We're going to make it through. And that's just we're going to get through this. Thanks.